Hello, David and Lisa Decker with Retirement Adventures. Today we're going to tell you about our experience with buying cars in Costa Rica or shipping cars in Costa Rica. Shipping cars and import taxes.
Basically, whether you're going to bring a vehicle with you or whether you're better off to purchase a vehicle once you get here. And preferably a four-wheel drive, not that you would need it all the time, but it's nice to have.
Higher
clearances, and you're going to be on paved roads the majority of the time, but you do get off the road if you're going to do any kind of adventuring at all, which we do. And so I'm going to share with you a little bit about what to expect if you're bringing a vehicle in, and talk about our personal experience having brought a vehicle in from the United States, which we decided to do early on. First off, I think it's important as far as the eligibility of vehicles that you're allowed to bring in as expats. A passenger vehicle, an SUV, a sedan, even a van you can bring in, and shouldn't really expect a lot of problems with that. Next, we'll go through shipping. Shipping, everything is based on what they call a CIF, cost, insurance, and freight. They're going to base all your taxes and your import taxes and associated taxes with registration on your CIF.
Cost, insurance, and freight.
Right. So the way it's set up is vehicles that are newer vehicles within 3 years, you're going to pay about 30% import duty only. So any vehicle that's 3 years or less, you're going to pay 30%. Vehicles between 3 and 6 years old are going to pay 40%. Anything over 6 years old, you're going to pay as much as 53%.
And that's import duty cost only. That doesn't include sales tax of about 13% of the value of the vehicle. And they decide what the value of the vehicle is. You have no control over that.
And then there's selective consumption tax, which is going to be between 10 and 25% of the CIF, the cost, insurance, and freight of the vehicle you're bringing in. All in all, I mean, your total tax burden on bringing a vehicle in is going to range between 70 and 85%. So when you're looking at a vehicle you're going to bring in, you have to keep those things kind of in mind. You have a general idea of what they're going to charge you. You will not get an exact number of what those taxes are going to be until you bring your vehicle in. I tried to find out for better than a year as to how much it would cost me exactly in order to bring a vehicle into Costa Rica. You need to hire a broker to get through clearances at port, which is another cost that you're going to incur, and then you're going to have documentation fees that you're going to need. The documents you're going to need to bring a vehicle in, which is your title and registration for the vehicle. Then you have to have a bill of sale indicating the price you paid for the vehicle. Then you need a shipping documentation, which is your purchase of landing or laden or equivalent, emission certification that the car must meet Costa Rican's emission standards, which in most cases I think are less than what they are in the United States, because most of their vehicles are older vehicles here. And then you're going to automatically, once you register your vehicle and put it through the inspection process, it's called Retevi, and you will get automatically in Retevi is a liability insurance plan.
And depending on the age of the vehicle, it's either inspected every year or every 2 years, depending on the age of the vehicle.
Right.
And all of this is our personal experience. You need to hire someone that this is what they do. This is just where we were about 4 years ago when we imported a vehicle. So this is all personal opinion.
Right. And this is just our personal experience. Everybody has a different one. So we'll just share with you what ours was. We used a company out of the United States to ship our vehicle there. They picked it up at our house, took it to Jacksonville, and put it on a boat in Jacksonville.
From Georgia to Florida.
Then from Florida to Costa Rica. There's 2 ways of shipping. There's one of which is called a row or roll on and roll off. And then they drive it onto the boat and strap it down on the boat. The second method is a container, which is more expensive. You're going to pay probably between $1,500 and $3,000 to have your vehicle, just the shipping, on a boat to get it to Costa Rica. And then you're going to have to go through the National Registrar here to get the vehicle, to get a license plate for Costa Rica. Some tips of it: make sure your vehicle is in excellent shape when it leaves the United States. Make sure all the lights are working, the belts are all well. I mean, I think we spent $5,000 or $6,000 on our Lexus, put new tires on it and everything when we brought it in. When we drive a 2000 Lexus LX4 four-wheel drive SUV. We felt comfortable bringing that in because it was in excellent shape. We made sure everything was perfect on it when we left.
Everything was brand new. All the belts, all the hoses, all the
timing covers, timing chain, or timing belt,
exhaust
systems all replaced. Everything needs to be tip top, because when you get here, parts are going to cost you twice as much to get that vehicle repaired,
or three times,
right? And then you got to find a reputable taller, which is a mechanic here, but they call them taller, Taller, and they are the mechanics of on your vehicles, which we're fortunate we do have an excellent mechanic.
Just to back up, remember, like if the car cost you in the States $20,000, you're going to pay, by the time everything's kind of calculated in, 70 to 80% of that cost as far as import taxes, customs clearance, registration,
selective consumption taxes.
Right. So remember to talk with someone that does this often, and get a referral from someone that's actually shipped a car. Don't go on Facebook and ask questions to people that lives in Arizona and they're answering questions in Costa Rica. Make sure it's someone that lives here, that has done it, and that has used that person. And you might have a smoother process than we did. But still, the import taxes, and there was this bill that was supposed to be passed where if you were an expat here and you brought in so much, you didn't have to pay taxes.
Like 2 vehicles in 1 container or something like that.
Right. But then there's all these loopholes you have to jump through. And to be honest with you, I heard of no one that has actually accomplished that, because they started to do it. And then if you sell it within 5 or 10 years or something, you have to pay it back. So there's all these loopholes. So we didn't even go there. We just paid it. And sure, it was a lot of money, and it was very shocking, I think, because when we moved to Costa Rica, it's cheaper. Well, you really have to be prepared for a lot of unexpected costs, and I think this was one of them.
I think, well, we had an idea what it was going to cost. Like I said, they're working to give you an exact cost. To reiterate what Lisa said, it is very important. One of the most important things you do is to research and find a good customs broker. He will lead you through the whole process of getting that vehicle through port, through customs, and help you get it licensed and legal here in Costa Rica.
And we had like a pump to pump up the tire and windshield wipers.
We had a bunch of extra stuff for the vehicle itself.
When we received the vehicle, actually you shipped it in February.
Late January.
And we actually received the vehicle at our house in July
14th.
So from February to July, we received it. And they were nice enough. They took the windshield wipers and all the little things we had in the vehicle.
They went through our glove box. They went through everything.
And they left the boxes, but they took our windshield wipers and everything out. And in the meantime, we have bought a little Honda CRV that I drive around, little blue here. And we have a 4-seater rail that we have.
Like a dune buggy rail, a little 1500cc get around.
We bought those here. The Renly was imported from somewhere else, but someone else did that, and we bought it when it was about 1.5 years or 2 years old. Still paid about double what you can buy it for, but that's just the cost of doing business with vehicles
in Costa Rica. Yeah. But to get back to our experience and them kind of looting our vehicle, they left the windows. It looked like they had left the windows open part of the time, whether it was on the boat or while it was sitting in port. The battery was dead. It was mishandled. And I'll be honest, I use Prestige, and Prestige is not the company I would refer anybody to. Their communications were terrible. They were trying to tell me that I was required to put in a new dashboard because it didn't say kilometers versus miles, and it does. And I knew it already had. And I took a photograph of our cluster and a bunch of other photographs prior to shipping it, so I had those in my records. But like I said, almost 6 months we waited for our vehicle to get there. It was not
Held up in port,
and it was stuck up in customs because I didn't have a good customs agent, and that was a whole secondary process I was unaware of, even in my research of finding out what was going to be required of us to get that vehicle there. But bottom line is, we're very happy we brought that vehicle down.
we are.
I mean, it was the right vehicle in the right condition.
And it was worth the money.
It was worth, and we paid around $10,000 in total between taxes, shipping costs, customs fees, and hiring a customs broker to get it through that process. And even after 6 months, it did not have a tag on it. I had to go through the entire process of doing that. Just beware and be knowledgeable. Ask us some questions. Maybe we can answer, or maybe we can't, but that's just trying to share our take on whether or not to bring a vehicle into Costa Rica or purchase one. If you're buying a vehicle, have a good mechanic that you know here. Look at
Where's here?
Oh, Costa Rica, I'm sorry. Not here. We're not.
We're in the States.
I forgot. Then I looked out the window.
And saw the snow. Yep.
But that's our take. And subscribe, ask questions, and comments.
Send us a message and we'll do what we can to help.
Yeah. Vita. And remember, we're all there because we're not all here. Let's go straight, right?
Ciao.
Ciao.